Hey, hey, it's Berta J. That's me. And I want you to come on into my kitchen with me today. We're going to whisk up something really, really simple. Very nice dressing. I hope you like all the ingredients. I do. I call it my I call it balsamic garlic dressing. Very simple. You need a bowl. And what we're going to do is put all the liquids together. This is 1/4 cup of balsamic vinegar. I use 365 from Whole Foods. And you wonder, why is she using such a great big bowl? I don't really have a small bowl. I just want you to see what everything is going to look like as I mix it up. So that's why I got my big see-through bowl, okay? You don't have to use a bowl this big. And then you're going to add to that. Now, this is water. It's 1/3 cup of water, but it looks sort of like vinegar because I put it in the measuring cup after I put in the balsamic vinegar. But it's just plain water, all right? It's a silliness of Berta J. And then you're going to use 2 tablespoons of pure lemon juice. Now, mine is a mixture of lemon and lime, but you can use pure lemon juice. And to that, you're going to put in here it is, xanthan gum, or you could use guar gum also. It's just a thickener that doesn't have to be heated. It's going to thicken something. So I'm using 1/8 teaspoon of xanthan gum. Put that in. And then this is going to go over here. Then you're going to mix all this up. And it's going to start to thicken, but not yet. Okay. We'll leave that. We're going to add more things to it. I already started chopping my garlic, but you remember, I have another, maybe you don't remember, this is the first time you've ever viewed me. I have a video about chopping garlic. You can either chop it, slice it, or you can do what I'm doing now. I mash it first, get as much of it as I can mashed. And this is fresh garlic. And then you take that and you just chop it. And it turns into minced garlic. Now they do have it in the store. I admit that. But I like fresh garlic, so that's what this is. And how much of it is it? 1 clove. So you take 1 clove, chop it up, and then mince it, mash it, chop it some more. So that's what it looks like when it's done. And I'm just going to scrape it right in. Because if you have balsamic garlic dressing, you should have some garlic in there. All right, and then you're going to do 1/8 teaspoon of dry mustard. You're going to use your own prepared mustard, and you're going to use a teaspoon of your favorite mustard. This is the mustard I really enjoy, and I think it tastes good. So I'm going to use a whole teaspoon of that. Now I use my fingers. Remember I told you that one of the biggest tools in the kitchen to me is your fingers and your hands, but make sure they're nice and clean. We're going to do 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and I use Himalayan, but you can use whatever here it is right here. I didn't have to do it. And then you need some sweetener, 1.25 teaspoons. And I used xylitol and maple syrup. I mixed the two. Okay, so now all you're going to do, it's very simple. Get the garlic down in there. You're going to mix. I keep pushing this back down because the little minced pieces of garlic keep popping up. You want to make sure you keep it in there. You need to stir a bit if you use the dry sweetener because you want the dry sweetener to dissolve. But if you use a liquid sweetener, of course, that's going to dissolve right away. So now what I'm going to do is pour it into my cleaned jar that I'm going to reuse. Now this will thicken overnight as you sit it in the counter or in your refrigerator. Get all your garlic and everything. And there it is. Now I can show you the consistency. It's not real thick yet. Now the other thing you can do, I made some before I came on, And what I did is I did the same thing. This, I just mixed. This, I put in my Vitamixer. So it's thicker. And I'll show you. Can you see how it's more creamy? I'll pour it in here. So it gets thicker because you're grinding up all of those ingredients. You're grinding up the garlic, but definitely that xanthan gum is getting in there, and it's thickening everything. So that's really it. I think the last thing I wanted to do was to taste it, and I'm just going to use. That's really good. It's very vinegary. If you don't like the vinegary taste, what you want to do is lower the amount of vinegar. This was 1/4 cup. Lower it to about 2 tablespoons. Try 3 tablespoons or 2 tablespoons of vinegar. You could also, I'm not sure, leave the lemon juice alone and just lower the vinegar and try that. See if you like that better. I wanted to try this one. Both are vinegary because it's the same recipe. This one is a less vinegary than this one. This is really, really strong vinegar. But I like vinegar. So if you try this recipe, and if you don't like having that much vinegar, lower the amount. It's 1/4 cup to maybe 2 or 3 tablespoons. Or use the 2 or 3 tablespoons and also blend it up in your blender, and it'll be a softer vinegar taste. You could also, I just thought of this, you could also raise the amount of sweetener that you put in there. I only used 1.25 teaspoons, maybe try 1.5 teaspoons and see if that will help. Because you're having that sweet sour thing going on, but I do like the sour overpowering the sweet. You may like it the other way. Okay, I hope that helps, and I hope you'll try it. It's really delicious, and that's the end of this show. But try it on your salads and whatever else you'd like to put your dressings on, like even dipping. This probably would be very good for dipping just raw vegetables or steamed vegetables as well. Pouring this dressing over it. And so I hope you'll try it, and don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to click on the bell so that every time a new video is uploaded, you'll be able to get the notification. But until next time, I want to say to you, thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next time, okay?